Hi there, my name is Kronenberg and welcome to my channel. This is a film review of Amityville, A New Generation. It's a horror. It came out in 1993. It's rated 18. It's an hour and 31 minutes. Amazon rating is 3.8 out of 5 and IMDb is 3.9 out of 10. The Amazon and the IMDb synopsis are the same, so I'll just read the Amazon one. An old mirror from the Amityville house finds its way into a young photographer's home, where the demonic presence soon manifests itself to cause more death and mayhem. So the director is John Murlowski, Murlowski, who directed Black Cadillac. Producer is Christopher DeFaria, Defaria, who produced Gravity. And music was by Daniel Licht, Licht, who did all the music for Dexter, the series. Now the cast, as usual, the main ones. We have Ross Partridge, who was Keys Terry, who was in Lamb, Lamb. Julia Nixon, who was Suki, who was in the series Noble House. Lala Sloatman, who was Lani, who was in The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. David Norton, sorry, I can't speak. Is it Norton? Naughton, who was Dick Cutler, who was in An American Werewolf in London. Richard Roundtree, who was Paulie, was in Shaft, the 70s version one. And Terry O'Quinn was Detective Clark, and he was in the series Lost. It was filmed in LA and California, and it's also known as Amityville 7 and Amityville 1993, The Image of Evil. Interesting thing, when I was watching it, Lara Sloatman, who was Lani, I was watching that thinking, that's her out of Resident Evil, Mila Jovovich, whatever her name is. But it's not. But it looks so much like her, and I was certain it was, but it wasn't. So I was just like, oh, okay. It's not what I was expecting at all. So you go straight into the credits. So I watch a lot of I won't call them B movies. I'll just call them low-rated movies, and a lot of them tend to never go straight into the credits. They tend to have a bit more intro, but this does go straight into it, so it's quite nice. The music's quite relaxing. It's like a piano and violin, kind of orchestral, but really kind of soothing, not like a typical horror. And then literally a few minutes in, we have a guy banging on a door, and his name is Robert Russler. He was in Vamp. Now, if you've never seen Vamp, it's a horror film from the 90s. Grace Jones is in it. One of my favourite horrors. And I was like, oh, it's him! He unfortunately wasn't in the film for very long, but yeah, he was in it. So that's kind of cool. As usual, I like to find these quotes. So they're sort of sitting around. There's not much going on at this point. They're sort of sitting around talking about life. Does it say if he's an artist? Yeah, he's a photographer. There's artists. There's like an artist in the house, and there's a sculpture or somebody that does sort of abstract sort of sculptures things. And he's a photographer. So they're all sort of artists, as it were. And so they're sort of sitting around talking to each other. And I can't remember, was it Suki or so, it said, the only real emotion left in this world is fear. And I thought, that is so true. I mean, this was back in the 80s or 90s. But I thought, yeah, it is. Even more so now, I would say. I think it's the only emotion that anyone even knows is fear. Nobody knows anything else, because we're all just scared crapless about anything. I breathe, I'm just going to be dying. I'll walk out the road and a car will knock me down. I'll burn due to the sun. I'll drown because of the rain. There's a swarm of locusts about to kill me. You know, anything. We'd all be dead by now. Anyway, I saw The Mirror. Obviously I saw it a bit earlier on, but I saw the first death. It was quite an interesting way of doing it, I must admit. I wasn't expecting that. I can't really explain it, obviously, without giving the film away. Now, it's interesting because our main actor, who was it, Ross Partridge, who's playing Keys Terry, I think he just calls Keys all the way through it, is having a dream about the actual Amityville house. Which is good because you actually see the house. Now I did the review for Amityville Curse, and they don't. In fact, I said that before in the other review, that basically that's the only Amityville film that doesn't even feature the house at all, which I agreed it didn't, whereas this one did. And it was quite good. It was like, oh, yeah, the house. We all know the house, the windows. If you don't, then look it up. But everybody knows the image of the Amityville house. The music's quite good as well. I mean, the Suki's doing some painting of some fantastic looking artists of demons. They're awesome pictures, paintings and stuff like that. And the music's kicking out. I love the music and I love the paintings. A trip. Somebody had to trip. It's a horror film. You have to trip in a horror film. Sadly, it's inside. Sadly, I can see why she tripped. I've just narrowed it down to 2 people. Well, there was other females as well in the film, but yeah, it was just like, nah. A bit early, like I say. It was how long have I been watching this for? Not even an hour. About 40 minutes, and then somebody tripped over. It's like, okay. And then there was this kind of weird flashbacks going on. When Keys, Lost Barge, was having these special flashbacks back to his childhood, and it was like, okay. So it kind of starts to make sense, parts of the entire film. So it's interesting when you start get to this point. You're like, now I can see. Whereas a lot of films, unfortunately, you watch it and you're like, what the hell's going on? Special effects are good. There's a killing scene in his dream, which again I'm not going to say much about. But the special effects on one of the persons in there is brilliant. It's fantastic. I thought that was awesome. Old school. Paulie's sculpture or whatever it was weird. It was a good concept, but it was so strange. I can't really say what it was without giving it away, because it's a really interesting piece of art, as it were. It was just funny that when he was there and he says, can somebody just sit down in my chair while I go to the toilet, and he was just like, okay. It kind of made me chuckle, but like I said, I'm not going to explain what it is. It does kind of tie in with the other parts of the exhibition. But there's not really much to say because I really enjoyed it. The ending was good. It kept me glued. You watch the film sometimes and you're like, you're supposed to be writing a review at this point, because I'm trying to actually watch the film as opposed to just sitting there scribbling away. The acting was good. The story made sense. The music was fantastic. I mean, for me, I like the music. The end credits was going up, I think, when I was scrolling it up, and it came up with 1 track. So maybe this is the 1 track. It was Furnace Rekindled by Will. I don't know who that is. I don't know if it is in the sound even. Let me have a look. So it was, would help if I went to bloody YouTube on it. It kept me entertained. I enjoyed it. So I'm actually going to give it a 7. Furnace Rekindle. Yeah, it might be the song. I'm not going to play it because obviously it'll be in my eardrums and you'll all hear it. So that might be it. But that was the only thing that came up in the end credits. So I'm assuming that's the song. I don't know. I'll find out when I listen to it. But yeah, good film. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed watching and listening to this film review of Amityville: A New Generation. I can't believe I've actually watched 2 Amityvilles very close to each other, but that's probably a good thing. Please subscribe to my channel. Got plenty of the film reviews out there. Quite a few playlists. Mostly horrors, but there's some splatterings of other things. I do majority of these games, but I do like films, and I think most people who watch films play games, or play games and watch films. Or even if you don't, if you just like watching films, then hey presto, you've got some films to watch, or not, if you want to watch just these reviews. Okay, well, thank you for watching, and goodbye.